Some of the most critical and most frequently experienced emergencies are extended power outages. These can affect anyone, regardless where they live in the country. And depending on the weather conditions outside, a power outage might not just be uncomfortable, but downright dangerous. So let's get informed about power outages. What is an extended power outage? Well, it's generally defined as a blackout lasting more than 24 hours. Now, depending on the temperature outside, especially in conditions of extreme heat or cold, we will want to take steps to ensure our family is safe. While NOAA says extreme heat is a big concern, the CDC says cold actually takes more lives. So regardless who's right, we don't want to be a statistic, so we need to prepare for both scenarios. With increasingly unpredictable climate and social changes and a fairly vulnerable electric grid, the chances of experiencing extended power outages is increasing. If the power were to go out right now and stay out for several days, ask yourself, are you prepared? 62% of people living in a power outage-prone area reported they did not have an emergency plan. In those same areas, 25% of individuals who had medical devices that required power, or maybe they had medications that required refrigeration, didn't know how to operate those devices or safeguard those medications during a power outage. In an effort to get informed about power outages as you're doing your emergency preparedness, here are some important things to consider in research. You will need to know when it's appropriate to bug out or go, and when it's the best decision to stay home and shelter in place. Do you know where there are local warming or cooling or emergency shelters and how to get there? And if you have pets, will they be welcome at that shelter? If not, do you know where those pets can stay? So we'll cover these important stay or go decisions in more detail in our planning videos. Does your power company have an alert app or website that shows outages? There are around 1,600 power companies across the United States alone. It's important to find out if yours has an outage alert app or website. Now, you're likely going to need to access these resources on your phone's data plan if possible, because the internet service in your home will most likely be down. Identify sources of heat and cooling that can be used in a power outage. As you can imagine, this is a fairly involved topic, so we will cover it in a lot more detail in the upcoming kit building and planning videos. Do you know where your local medical facilities are and how to get there? If you have young children, elderly family members, or anyone in the home with support needs, can those needs be addressed without electricity? For example, do you have batteries and/or battery backups that can power medical equipment? Do you have all your medications, and do they need to be kept cool? Do you have sufficient food and water for several days? Do you have a light source? Can you power critical devices? If the water is off or the sewer in your house is unusable, do you know how to properly deal with human excrement as to not introduce disease into your environment? You'll want to spend some time researching these things, as the answers and solutions you uncover will help guide you as we show you how to put together your emergency plans and your go and stay kits. Here's your homework, and you should pause this video here to take notes. Your power company, do they have an app or a website with outage alerts? Location and directions to local emergency shelters, to local food banks, to local medical facilities. Take an inventory of winter clothing and blankets. Identify medical equipment that will need to be powered. Identify medications that must stay cool. Inventory stored water supplies, containers, and non-perishable food that could be set aside for emergencies. Inventory light sources, including candles, flashlights, lanterns, and lighters and matches. Inventory backup power supplies like batteries or battery backups. Inventory heat sources and fuel, for example, if you have non-electric forms of heat like fireplace or a wood stove, you'll want to inventory your wood supply. So this concludes the video on getting informed about power outages. It's time for you to start doing your research. Watch our upcoming videos about planning and kit building to support you during power outages.